How many e-bikes do you now have?
It's gotten to the point where there's too many for the house. These aren't e-bikes.
Yeah, I'll do a video about this eventually on my other channel.
7. So I kind of wanted to do this little comparison video and tell you guys what I like and what I don't like about these bikes. And I'm also going to go over some of the specs, which you can also find on these companies' websites. All the links will be down below in the video's description. First up, the Angui Engine Pro. This e-bicycle retails at $1,449. It's available in 4 different colors: black, blue, gray, and a limited edition Aurora. Judging by their website, one of the things the company is the most proud of is the 1,000 watt hub motor with 55 Nm torque. Nm, is that Newton meter? I haven't gone this far, but supposedly on one charge, this can go up to 75 miles. Now that motor, it's 750 watt, but it says 1,000 watt plus peak, and I have no idea what that means. One of the things I really appreciate on any sort of bicycle, whether it's just a bike or an e-bike, is suspension. And this bike does have dual suspension. It's decent. It's definitely not the best. It's not like the suspension on my Trek, but that's a lot more money than $1,449. I'm not gonna say how much. I'm still paying it off. And I found out I also really enjoy fat tires. Now these have smaller tires. They're 20 inches in diameter and 4 inches wide. So that's pretty wide. Pros and cons, which might be subjective because I'm just basing it on what I like. As a fairly lazy person, I do enjoy the very powerful motor. I think out of all the bikes, this one to me felt like the strongest. It got me around my wet, filthy, dirty hole just fine. An adjustable seat is always nice to have, especially at my height. And I also like how comfy it is. I just don't know how comfy it would be with constant pedaling with just the throttle, and it's nice that it has a throttle so you don't have to do anything at all, which is not good for if you want to exercise. But say you already did a bunch of exercise, you just throttle your little buns back home. So the seat is pretty comfy compared to like the one on my mountain bike. I actually did put a mountain bike seat on one of these other bikes that I'm going to show you soon. The screen is also nice. I like color, it's centered, and it's fairly large. And it folds, so I could take it anywhere, but I don't go anywhere. The bad news, during assembly, I struggled to get the front together. It was kind of loose, and I know I'm not the only one. So that's definitely something Angui needs to look at. It kind of seems like there's a part missing. And a much smaller issue, which is the small handlebars. I like when they're wider. This one does have very narrow handlebars, which that's subjective. I like them bigger because then I feel like I have more control. But maybe with this style of bike, that's why it's so short. I don't know, but I like them long. Oh, and yeah, the thumbnail. I got that idea from another YouTuber. I was like, you know, maybe I should look at other videos, other YouTubers, just to gain some knowledge and more understanding of how I should do these e-bike videos. And I came across this beautiful woman here, and I was just blown away. I was like, I've never even thought of that, even though I have an OnlyFans. No nudity. Heybike. I think that was the cheapest of them all. Retails at $899. So this is a different style. It's more of a city cruiser. So it's definitely not as powerful as some of these others. 350 watt battery, and the max range on that is about 40 miles. Maybe with just pedal assist, but if you're going full electric and just using the throttle, then you can get up to about 25 miles out of it on one charge. So this one has a brushless motor, no clue what that means, and it goes up to 19 miles per hour. And just like the Angui, the part I forgot to mention about it is it's got that rack on the back, so you can hold some stuff. This one's a little bit stiffer. It has some front suspension, but not so much in the back. Although the seat is a little bit bouncy, bouncy. I do like that. The seat is comfortable, but it's not as comfortable as the one on the Engwe. But what's kind of annoying about the seat is you have to kind of pop it up to get the battery out. But it's nice that the seat height is adjustable, and you got a pretty decent amount there for adjustments. And after testing out all of these bikes, I'm finding that I'm really enjoying larger wheels. This one has the larger wheels, but it doesn't have the fat tires. I guess for a city cruiser, it doesn't need those because it's not an all-terrain bike. This one's more for streets and sidewalks. The handlebars to me are a little weird, but I think that's just how they are on city cruiser bicycles. I'm used to the straight handlebars, so it's not really a con or a pro. It's just a little awkward for me. And that screen, it's tiny and it's black and white. It's really nothing special. So I figured I'd complain about it. I'm gonna butcher the name of this bike, Bezior XF200. This one comes in at $1,499. And I have switched out the fairly comfortable seat to a really uncomfortable mountain biking seat because I gotta get used to that type of seat since I mountain bike for reals and I get really sore in the tushy. So this hill is a lot steeper than it looks, but yeah, that was terrifying. This one's also a pretty powerful 1,000-watt motor. According to the company, on one full charge, you might be able to get up to 80 miles out of it, but that's just with pedal assist, and in an electric mode, so with the throttle, 35 miles, up to. Now I'm finding that the Shimano 7-speed gear thingy is pretty standard among these bikes. I think all of them have it, the ones I got. So on the highest speed, on the highest mode, this thing goes up to 25 miles per hour. I like the fat tires. It's neat that it folds. I feel like the pedal assist is a little smoother than on the Angui, but what I don't like, which kind of makes me angry, is that the seat adjustment, I feel like that pole is just not long enough. I could use a little more pole, but they say this bike is supposed to be for people up to 6 feet 3 inches. I don't think so. Also, there's no rear tail light. There's no light in the back. And in Florida, if you want to ride a bike at night, you gotta have a light in the back. Jasion, I'm gonna keep butchering these. This one looks really similar to the Angui and the Bezior, but it's not. It just looks similar. It's a lot cheaper. This one comes in full retail price, $999. But the motor is smaller. 500-watt brushless motor. And they're saying 45 to 50 torque provided. Because it's a smaller battery, it doesn't take as long to charge, but all these batteries do take a while to charge. This one's about 4 to 5 hours. And on pedal assist, that's up to about 45 miles. It folds. It's got a rack in back for your crap. The seat height, no issues with adjustments there. And there's also fat tires. Not as fat as the other two that look similar to it. These ones are still 20 inches in diameter and 3 inches wide. Ariel Rider. So the company that makes this bike is pretty proud of their motor. It says it's 1,000-watt nominal power, 2,000-watt peak power. 52-volt long-range battery. And by long range, they mean it can last up to about 75 miles on one charge. And the company's really proud of their battery. They say what makes our battery special are the built-in safety measures. It has a 90-amp protection board, high and low voltage, current regulators, and a temperature sensor. So it's got front fork suspension, rear suspension, but I will say when you go on bumps, it's still a little rattly. It really seems like this one was designed to be used with just the throttle because the seat's not adjustable. But what's kind of neat about the seat is you can add a second cushion. They sell a second one that you can put on there for a second person and just throttle away. Because with a seat like that, if you're constantly pedaling, I kind of feel like there's going to be a little bit of chafing going on eventually. It is a pretty cool looking e-bike though, and it better be because it retails for around $2,399. And for that much money, you get a nice big ass headlight. And of course, there is a light in back as well. But back to the seat. I said you could put a second cushion on there. You could also, instead of that, leave it alone, or put a basket on there as well. So yeah, it's comfortable if you're just sitting around on there, but I don't see it being really comfy if you're pedaling, especially if you're tall. And I don't really know how a second person's gonna work out unless you guys are both fairly small people, because the max payload is 300 pounds. And the motorcycle seat continues on with the Kakuka Rampage. I love the bike, love it. The wheels are big with big fat tires, and I just spit on the camera. Oh, I really enjoy this one. The ride is so smooth. The pedal assist is super smooth. The other ones are kind of jerky, especially the more powerful the motor, the jerkier it seems to be, but not this. It just gives you a nice smooth pedal assist, and the handlebars are so wide. I love the wide handlebars. I feel like I have a lot of control over the bike. I felt the safest on this one. This is definitely my favorite one, but the seat, it's not my favorite. I mean, you're not gonna have any issues if you probably go like 5 to 10 miles, but if you wanna use this for exercise, I don't know if it's really the best option. Or maybe you'll get more exercise that way because it's more of a workout since you can't adjust the seat height. So, the screen on this thing is pretty intense. It's big, it's colorful, it's beautiful. I love it. And I also like how bouncy it is. I like bouncy things. It feels nice on my tushy. Dual adjustable suspension, torque sensor, up to 32 miles per hour. Not in Florida. Shimano gear shifting system, 4-piston hydraulic disc brakes, 4-inch color display. Unfortunately, I don't think this one's available for purchase yet. It's on Indiegogo at the moment, which is, I guess, kind of like purchasing the bike. So, Kakuka Rampage Pro Early Bird, $2,699. So that's the Pro version. I think the one that I have is the Kakuka Rampage, not the Pro, and this one's only $2,299. And last but definitely not the least expensive is the Fido X. This one retails at $1,999. It's the smallest, the lightest, and the easiest to assemble out of all of them because the front wheel's already attached. They're not usually attached, but this one is. Now this one's a little bit different from the others. The others have throttles. This one does not. It has pedal assist. It's meant to be an exercise bike, so you're not just supposed to sit around and do nothing on it. With this one, you gotta put in a little bit of work, but with the pedal assist, it's really not that much work. It is a really unique bike, I will say that. It's unique because the battery it's the seat post, the seat pole, and it's quite height adjustable, so for my height I had no issues, but I can see how sitting on a battery can terrify some people. I didn't really care, but I know that's kind of a scary thought. The frame, let's move on. Let's move on from the battery under the seat and take a look at the frame. Look how pretty and smooth it is. Do you notice something missing? There's no weld marks. But what's not pretty is there's no suspension. It's a rigid bike. And I feel like it's just meant for the streets, unless you've built up a really tough bicycle booty. Another thing that makes it unique is the keyless entry. All the other bikes that I showed, they require keys. This one does not. And they claim that the range on this is up to 80.7 miles. But I don't know. I mean, I went like, 6 miles, and 1 notch on the battery life indicator went down. I would really like to see that in percentages because I don't know what that means. I don't know what the one little notch. It just went down a little bit. And at the end, the big question is, what will I do with all these e-bikes? Well, that's how I'm going to get paid for the videos I made about them. I'm going to sell them because I just got these e-bikes in lieu of payment. So I am going to post them locally and sell them because that's how I gotta pay my bills. And I totally understand that if you subscribe to a vape channel and it's no longer a vape channel, it's fine if you unsubscribe. Many have. And I get it. It's okay. It's okay. But if you want to stick around and see what other crap that I can make, feel free to. I would love it. So subscribe. Click the subscribe button, it's somewhere over there, and I hope to see you in the next one. Toodaloo-dee-loo. Bye. Oh yeah, I totally capped that wall. The wall of art. It's beautiful. It's expensive. And I'm proud of it. But sadly, it's over. I don't know if it's so sad because I never went into this thinking it would last forever. Nothing lasts forever. Eventually it all ends, and it did. Nala, come here. Come here. Come here.
Find a spot. No, just find a nice spot. Just find a good spot. There you go, just sit there. You can't even see her anymore.
And by the way, this is a waterbed. Yup. It's not my choice, but it's here now.